Welcome in the sewing room. You know, I told you all to save all your little bitty pieces, all your little bitty crumbs. I told you to be saving them in a bag. Well, I've got my bag. You go get your bag and come back, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Okay, I've got my bag of scraps, and I dumped some of them out because I don't need all of them. Okay, just dumped them out right here. And see, some of them are really big, and I don't want them to be that big. Matter of fact, this piece I'm going to put down here, or part of it, because I can use it for something else. So some of them are too big. So this is what we do. You just take your cutter and you just cut them up. Or you take a pair of scissors. I think I'll do better with a pair of scissors. You just want to whack them up into little bitty pieces. No right or wrong, no rhyme or reason to it. Just cut them. Just cut them up. Make little bitty crumbs, like breadcrumbs. No, we're not going through the woods to drop them. Although that'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? Fill your pocket full. And that way the birds won't eat them, will they? Yeah, the birds wouldn't eat them up. We are going to make a crumb quilt or a crumb mat. Yes, you can make a quilt like this. No worries. If you want to quilt it, you absolutely can make it into a quilt. Big quilt if you want to. And I'm not going to make mine into a big quilt. I'm just going to make a mat for my machine to sit on. And like I said, you don't need a whole lot. Well, depending on what you're going to make, you might need more. Like I said, you just want to whack them up, get them kind of small so that you have a whole bunch. And I've got plenty right there. I'm not even going to whack up the rest of these. I'm going to put them back in my bag for another project. Yes, I am. All right, see all this? All right, we've got all these ready. And we've got our little flowers from our other project. I think this is enough. If it's not, well, you know what? We'll cut up some more. All right, you need a piece of fabric. And I'm using a canvasy type fabric, a denim fabric, something kind of heavy. It doesn't have to be real pretty because it's going to be on the bottom. Nobody's really going to be looking at it. But you need a piece of fabric. Then you need some batting, and I'm using cotton, and I'm using 2 thicknesses of it, okay? And then you need some tulle or netting, and I'm just using white right here. You can see through it. The next thing you want to do is to lay it all out here. Let me pull all these up, throw them over here because, you know, they don't go on the top here. All right, now then, I've got it all laid out here, and yes, I put a couple of pins in it to hold it because I don't want this to start wiggling on me. I want it to be nice and smooth. I'm going to use my serger, and I'm going to sew around 3 sides. 3 sides, just like this, to make my sandwich. And I'm just going to start right here right down through here, and this will cut it as I sew. If I can find my foot pedal. There we go. You don't want to sew over a pin. I tried to pin it in where it wouldn't. Just want to make sure you get all this caught. You can sew it with a straight stitch on your machine, but I thought, why not do this? Kind of keep it from raveling while I'm working. Plus, this sews faster and cuts it off, makes it nice and smooth. Now this, I'll tuck away because we might use it on something else. You can sew any 3 sides. It does not matter. Make this any size you want it. I just cut this off. I don't even know what size it is because I didn't measure it. I just thought, well, this looks like a good size right here. So I just went with it. I went with half the width of my fabric. And just, it's how long my piece of fabric was. You just want to catch all 3 layers of this. And so you cannot even see this top netting. And I know you're going, what in the world is she going to do? Well, just keep watching. All right, let me pull these pins out. And here now comes the fun part. All right, let's set this down in the floor. All right, now then, we left this open. We can stick our hands in there. This is what we do. We just start putting this in here just like this. You just want to make sure that it's all covered. And flip them over and make them look pretty. You don't want the outside edge to show, you know, the back side. You want it to be pretty. You just start laying them in here just like this. And we may need some more. But you want to make sure you've got it all covered good. Like I said, flip them over if you need to. And adjust. Just play with it. Yeah, I'll probably need some more because I think wasn't thinking about it being as big as it is. But I'm making a big old mat here. You can make dish drying mats like this, and they're so pretty. Yes, they are. As a matter of fact, you can take a dish drying mat and actually start with just a dish drying mat. That's a piece of tape. We don't want that. You want to get all your crumbs. That's what they're called, crumbs. We're going to get out some more out of our bag. Start whacking them up here. See, doesn't that look pretty? All your colors. It just, it's just so pretty. Pretty, 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 pretty. All right. We'll lay this over like this so we can cut some more. Those are all okay. All right, some of this is too big. Let's put it down there in our other scrap bin. Ouch! Don't cut your fingers. That's not good. All right, let's see if we've got enough now. And if we don't, we'll get our bag back up here and get us out some more. Okay, now I think we might have enough this time. Just push them all in there. Like I said, there's no rhyme or reason. You're just putting them in here, spreading them out. Get all these up here. Well, let me get a Band-Aid. I'll be right back. Okay, now when you've got all this done, then you can come in here and take some of these and just lay them here on the top. Make sure you get the paper off the back. And just stick them down. Just like that. If you've got other fabrics with little motifs of different things that you want to use, just cut them out and stick them in here. And you lay these up on the top like that. Let's see what else we can find. Here's some chickens. Look at these chickens. Let's cut us out a couple of chickens. Oh, I'm cutting two layers. And these do not have to have the steamer seam on them. Those just happen to have. just wanting to whack these up and then just throw these pieces in there too. I mean, why not? Why not? All right, there's those. Let's see what else we've got up in here we can cut off to use. Oh, here's some little monkeys. Look here. These little things. I don't know what they are. Some kind of little rag doll. I think this piece of fabric is old, old, old. I've washed it a time or two. What else can we find? What else can we find? There's some lemons, some watermelons, some strawberries. A popsicle. And you don't have to do this part at all if you don't want to. If you like it just the way it is, then just leave it. But I'm picking up the crumbs off the floor. And just come in here and dot them around so that they're kind of on the top just for a little bit. And that piece is flipped over. We don't want that on the top. They don't have to go all one direction. They can go different ways. Okay, I believe that'll do it. Now then, I'm going to take the serger and I'm going to serge down this side right here to completely close it in. All right, that's the next step. We need to completely close it in. Make sure we get all this right up here to the edges. We want it all to be at the edges. Make sure there's not any little bare spots. Okay, let's pull that out of our way. Get this back up here and go down this side. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to put some pins in it to kind of hold it all together. Okay. All right, now then, we need to take this over here to the other machine and quilt it. So I'll meet y'all over there. All righty, now then, we're over here, this machine. And we're going to quilt this. And you can quilt it however you want to. You can go diagonals, you can make squares, you can make lines, you can make random quilt, do however your little heart desires, but you need to quilt it and quilt it really close together, okay? Because you want all your pieces to stay right where you put them, okay? So you want to quilt it. You can use a walking foot, or you can use, wait a minute, I'll put that back on there. I'm going to show you the difference in your feet. Here is a walking foot. And what this means is, this right here fits on your needle, your needle thing where you put your needle in and out, that little bar right there, your needle bar, I guess is what you call it. It slides onto that. Then this hooks right here in where you're, on this part right here of your machine. Screws into the side, and it's got feed dogs right here that feed the top of your fabric at the same rate that your feed dogs in your machine are feeding the bottom of your fabric. That's the reason it's called an even feed foot. It feeds your fabric evenly from the top and from the bottom, okay? This is a free motion quilting foot. This is what I'm going to do, because I'm just going to doodle around all this stuff and just make it all fun, because after all, there's no rhyme or reason to any of this. It's all just crumbs, and so why not? So I'm going to use that one. You can just use your regular foot. If you want to just sew lines, it might not feed evenly, but if you don't have an even feed foot and this is what you want to do, you can use just a regular foot, but I would go slow and you might have to help the top layers feed through evenly, okay? So let me find my little screwdriver here so I can get this off. And get this one on. All right, now then, I'm going to drop my feed dogs, and I've got a little lever right underneath here that will put them down. They just fell down, and they will not feed my fabric. I will have to feed my fabric, okay? Then you want to lay that down and you want to give you some room right here. You can raise it or lower it with this little screw that's on it. Okay? Then you just want to start sewing and moving and wiggling. And I need to raise that up some more because it's down too far. Need a little more room in there. So depending on how thick of stuff you're quilting, you can raise and lower your foot with that little screw right there. All right, if y'all watched me quilt that, I turned you on fast speed. Um, my stuff shifted because I put it up here to sew it and it all shifted downward. So I had to reshift while I was doing this and broke a needle or two because it all got bunched up on me. And so you want to be sure not to put in too much like I did. Don't do what I did, do what I tell you to do. And do not put in too much, especially if you've got 2 layers of quilt batting, which I probably could have done with 1 layer of quilt batting and extra crumbs. But all in all, I think it turned out very cute. But now then, we want to make it look real pretty. So we're going to put a binding on it. Yes, we are. We are going to bind it. All right. So let me go over here. I'll meet y'all back over at the cutting table because we got to cut us some binding. Okay, I'm just cutting strips 4 inches wide. You can make this binding as wide or as narrow as your little heart desires. And I think my 3 pieces will be enough. Yes. All right, I cut me 3 strips. You cut however much you need for your mat. All right, cut however much you need and as wide as you want it. You want it at least 2 inches, but I just thought I would make mine wider. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew these together end to end, just like this, with this handy dandy little serger right here. And I'm just going to stand up to do it because I'm standing up right here. And I just have to sew 2 little seams. And then we're going to take it back over to the other machine. And we're going to sew it on. All right. I'm going to press this first of all. Get that back over there. Now come over here to the ironing board with me. Isn't it pretty? I love all the different colors in it. I do. I just love how they turn out. Just all your pretty fabrics right there for you to see. My iron's got to get warm again because it cooled off. Okay. You just want to press this down good so that it, when you come to your seams. You can cut a bias binding. You can buy binding if that is what your little heart desires to do. You sure can. I'm just going to press this out smooth. Just like this. We've got our new pretty ironing board cover. Just makes me happy. If you've not watched that video, go back and watch it. And you see how I make an ironing board cover. Easy peasy. So quick. No, not but one little seam. All right, I'm going to meet y'all over here at this machine. All right, I've got to change my foot out again. So let me get that done and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm just going to start sewing this right down through here on the back side. And I'm coming in a little more than 1/4 of an inch, maybe closer to a 1/2 inch, 5/8 probably. And I'm just going to start sewing. I really don't want to start right there though, because I want to leave some so that I can make it all meet back and put my seam in it in a minute. Okay, so Well, it'll feed if I put my feed dogs up. It will. Now then, we should be good to go. When we get over here to the corner, I'm going to show you how we're going to turn it. You want to stop right here at 5/8 of an inch. Raise your presser foot. Turn this until it comes all the way back here even with that seam, okay? Pull this up, lower your presser foot, and stitch it right down through there. All right, same thing on this corner. Turn it, pick this up, and pivot it right like that. Make sure that you've got enough to come right there, and then you pivot it around. Right like that. Point, pivot, and turn. This right here, you want to come up right like this. All right, now then, You want to pull that down right like that and snip it off right like that. Turn this one back and run this one right up over it. All right. Now then, we're going to go over there and I'm going to press this down, all of it. And I'm going to turn this under and I'm going to press it about like that right there. Okay? About a half an inch. And then we're going to flip it all the way around to the front. And we're going to have a big wide, well, matter of fact, I might just press this in about halfway and then flip it around to the front. So we'll have our binding, okay? Let's go back to the ironing board. All right. Now then, we're going to turn this up here right like this. Get this right here pressed down good. Turn it in about an inch. Right like so. All the way around. I'm going to clip this right here just a little bit. Right there. And right there. All right, let's get us some pins. Y'all know I don't like pins, but sometimes they are a necessary evil if your clips are not big enough to come all the way across here. And mine are not. We're going to pull this up right like this. Pull it straight down. And then we're going to pull this one up. Right like this. And then pull that down and you've got your little mitered corner right like so. It just kind of miters itself, you all. You don't really have to do a lot to it. Just kind of does it all on its own. Yes, it does. Let's get this right here clipped off and trim off this corner. Now then, let's turn this in and press it. We're about finished with this cute little mat to set our machine on or whatever. These would make cute little placemats. They would. They really, 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 really would. I think, and I'm going to have to make a little I Spy blanket with lots of little motifs and stuff in it. Since we have a new little in our family. Got the sweetest little boy. Yes, we do. Got my pins going backwards. I do that a lot. Do y'all do that? When you're pinning something, pin them backwards. I do that all the time. All right. Let's see if we can get us another pin or two in here. Like I said, make your binding as wide or as narrow as you want to. All right, now then, we're going to go back over to the machine and stitch this down and we'll be finished. All right, let's go back over here and stitch down our binding, and then so we can have this little puppy finished. All right, now then, you notice I didn't stitch this a minute ago right here where I brought my seam together. That is because I'm going to start right there, and I'm going to stitch right up through there, just like this. Make sure you've got it all in there. Okay, just like this. All right, now then, let's give it a turn and stitch right up through here along this edge. And I'm stitching in about 1/8 of an inch. Stop, raise your presser foot and pivot. And go again. Move y'all back because I'm running into you. Pivot. And take your pin out that you've got in backwards, because you know we did that. Lord, I run out of bobbin thread. Mercy. I did, just like that, ran right smack dab out of bobbin thread. I'm using some old pre-wound bobbins I've had for years and years and years. Came with a machine I bought, I don't even know how many years ago. Well, I thought I was going to use one. See if I can get, there's one. I can find the end of that one. All right, just like that. It's finished except for one thing. This is the back of it. I'm going to take y'all over here and I'll meet you over there so we can finish it up. First, I'm going to cut some strings. My quilting could have been a lot better, but it is what it is, as they say. Okay, we're just about finished. Since we're going to put a sewing machine on this is going to be a Christmas gift. I just decided we'll give this as a gift for Christmas. And we're going to set a sewing machine on it. We don't want it to slip and slide, right? So I've got this right here. It's just that shelf liner, non-slip shelf liner. Buy it at Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, Target, grocery store, anywhere. Handy dandy glue gun. And I'm just going to glue it. Hot glue it. You could sew it. But the hot glue will also keep it from sliding. And I'm going to run a bead of glue right around the corners. Just like that. And that will help to grip it. Okay? You just want to glue this down good. And then come back around this corner right here and just put you some glue around the corner. Alrighty, it's finished. There's the back side of it. And you lay it down here and it won't move. It will not move. So your vibrating of your machine is not going to move it. It moves just a little bit, but not much. I may have to put some more glue right in the middle. But I can do that. But the glue holds it, doesn't let it move, okay? So, there's our scrappy crumb quilted machine mat. A crumb quilted machine mat. And yes, I probably should have squared it up, but I didn't because it's all scrappy and wonky. So we're just going to leave it scrappy and wonky. Yeah, we are. So, but that's the process of using all of your little teeny tiny itty bitty pieces of fabric that you just really can't bring yourself to throw in the garbage. You make a crumb mat, a crumb quilted mat with your fabric crumbs. And like there's the chicken, there's some flowers, there's a watermelon, there's some flowers, there's the pansy. It kind of got underneath some other things. But here's our homemade stuff from that piece of fabric. Some flowers and some, just all sorts of stuff. There's Tula Pink here. There's some Moda prints. There's a little bit of a selvage right there. There's a bee. All kinds of fun stuff. Just all kinds of fun stuff in this. And I love how it turned out. I do. It's so much fun. It really is. And it was fun to make. So save all your crumbs if you haven't already. Save your crumbs to make you a crumb mat. And I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.